Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We're completely redefining how you look at your own journey. We hear it all the time, right? Messages telling us to chase wealth, to climb the corporate ladder, to accumulate all these things. But life, it's not just about waking up, working, and earning a paycheck. It's actually a journey of learning, growing, and becoming a better person every single day. And to really wrap our heads around this, we're going to dive into a fascinating story of two vastly different lives that happened to start on the exact same morning. So, how do you measure a truly successful life? I mean, if you ask modern society, the answer is usually pretty standard. A huge bank balance, a fancy title, maybe a luxury car. But I want you to keep this profound question in the back of your mind as we go through this explainer. Because I promise you, by the end of this, your answer is probably going to look very, very different from what the world tells us. All right, let's jump into section 1. Two boys, two worlds. Imagine a single morning in a bustling city. Two baby boys take their very first breaths. They're born in the exact same city, just a few miles apart, but they are entering entirely different universes. On one side, you have a baby born into a luxurious private hospital, surrounded by expensive gifts, smiling family members, and literally the promise of inheriting a massive business empire. Then, on the other side, a baby is born in a small public hospital to poor laborers who barely have enough money to cover the medical bill. They don't have expensive gifts to offer or grand celebrations. All they really have is immense love and this desperate hope that their son is going to have a better life than they did. And as they grew up, their universes only pulled further apart. The wealthy boy lived in this sprawling mansion with beautiful gardens and luxury cars. Everything he wanted, poof, it appeared instantly. He never had to wait, and he certainly never had to struggle. But here's the catch. By protecting him from every hardship, his parents unknowingly shielded him from life's absolute greatest lessons. Meanwhile, the poor boy lived in a tiny house with cracked walls and a leaking roof. During the rainy season, his family would scramble just to keep their things dry, and his parents often quietly skipped meals just so he could eat. Now, the absolutely crucial point here is how you respond to those cracked walls and skipped meals. Every night, the poor boy's mother would smile at him and share this incredibly beautiful piece of advice. She'd say, "Never be ashamed of being poor. Be ashamed only if you stop dreaming." Wow. Those words became a guiding light for him. They were literally the fuel that kept him incredibly resilient through his toughest and, frankly, his hungriest days. Moving on to section 2, the diverging paths. As they hit their teenage years, tragedy struck the poor family. The boy's father fell severely ill and just couldn't work anymore, wiping out their tiny income pretty much overnight. So while the rich boy's biggest worry was, which party to attend, which mall to visit, or where to take his next expensive vacation, completely believing success was just his birthright, the poor boy was thrust into a completely different reality. He had to make a really painful choice to step up and carry the absolute weight of his family's survival. He started working during the day, carrying bricks, cleaning shops, taking absolutely any grueling job he could get his hands on. And because there was no electricity in his tiny home, he spent his nights quietly studying under a neighborhood streetlight. His body was exhausted, completely drained. But his determination? That only grew stronger every single day as he relentlessly fought for his future. Every single challenge he faced was becoming a lesson, building a foundation of absolute iron. But let's pause here for a second and ask a really tough question. What happens when the money disappears? What happens when that safety net just vanishes? Because we all know that life can change without any warning whatsoever. Who is actually prepared when life brings unexpected disaster? Is it the one who has never faced a struggle, or the one who has had to fight for absolutely every inch? Which brings us to section 3, the great reversal. Years later, life began to reveal its true nature. It completely flipped the script on both of these young men in ways literally neither of them could have predicted. Right as the poor boy was graduating with excellent results on a full scholarship, propelled by all those long nights under the streetlight, disaster actually struck the wealthy family. And it happened incredibly fast. Studies often show that generational wealth is frequently lost by the second generation, but here it was lost in mere months. A whole series of failed investments completely destroyed their business empire. The mansion was sold, the luxury cars were gone. The young man who had never worried about a single cent suddenly found himself struggling to find even a simple job. For the very first time in his entire life, he felt the crushing weight of fear, disappointment, and just total uncertainty. Desperate for work, the former rich boy walks into a modern office building for an interview. He walks into the manager's office and just freezes. Sitting right there, behind the big desk, is the poor boy from his childhood. The former rich boy lowered his head, completely bracing himself for humiliation. But instead, the manager stood up, smiled warmly, embraced him, and spoke these incredibly powerful words. Life doesn't test us to destroy us, it tests us to teach us. We all deserve a second chance. And man, this encounter sparked the ultimate transformation. The former rich boy accepted the job with deep, genuine gratitude. He arrived early, he learned with real humility, and he slowly rebuilt not just his career, but his character. He finally learned that success earned through hard work feels far, far more valuable than success just handed to you on a silver platter. And the former poor boy? Well, he proved that true success doesn't breed arrogance. It breeds kindness and immense grace. All right, let's look at Section 4, Principles of True Success. So, what does this incredible parable actually teach us? It shows us that success is not measured only by wealth, a booming business, or social status. As both men realized when they caught up years later at a charity event, true success actually comes from knowledge, good character, discipline, and the positive impact we leave on others. The people who achieve truly great things, they aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who take every single failure as an opportunity to become stronger and who just never, ever stop trying. Think about knowledge, discipline, kindness, and integrity. These are absolute treasures that no one can ever steal from you. Money can disappear overnight. Houses can be lost. Businesses can fail. I mean, we just saw it happen in the story. But your character, that remains forever. Your kindness is always going to be remembered far, far longer than your wealth ever will be. A truly successful life is built on 3 foundational principles: continuous learning, hard work, and patience. When you combine those qualities with honesty and real determination, absolutely no goal is impossible. You just have to keep moving forward, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself, even when the road gets ridiculously difficult. Which leads us perfectly into Section 5, the real meaning of life. Let's really cement the ultimate purpose of our everyday journeys here, because this is where the rubber meets the road. Time is, without a doubt, your most valuable asset. As the old saying goes, money can be earned again, but lost time never returns. So you have to consciously invest your time in learning new skills, building meaningful relationships, and working toward your dreams. Don't waste your time worrying about what you don't have. Invest it in building what you can become. And please remember this: your circumstances do not define your future. If you're poor today or just struggling right now, never, ever lose hope. And on the flip side, if you're wealthy or highly successful today, never become proud. Life can change without any warning whatsoever. Respect every single person you meet, because you just never know what hidden battle they're fighting or what greatness they might actually achieve tomorrow. So at the end of the day, who is the richest person? Well, it's certainly not the one with the biggest house or the fastest sports car. The truly richest person is the one who never stops learning, never stops working, never stops helping others, and never, ever loses hope, even in the absolute darkest of moments. Because every sunrise brings another incredible opportunity to take just one small step forward. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on. Life is not about being better than others. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday. Your future is being created by the choices you make today. So what choice are you going to make right now? Will you choose to stay comfortable, or will you choose to learn, grow, and build a character that outlasts absolutely everything else? Really think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.